Hi, good Tuesday evening, everyone. It's weather for Weather Geeks time. What a busy day today. Just a crazy day. I spent a good hour and a half this morning at E.J. Blott Elementary in Youngstown. I had a great time with the second graders there. They had tremendous questions. A lot of talk about not only weather, but earth science. We talked earthquakes and a lot of space talk. And then, of course, a lot of meteorology. We got into tornadoes and hurricanes and all sorts of great stuff. And I'm always amazed at the great questions that are asked by kids at that level. It's always a treat to interact with the kids. All right, we had, of course, our snow this afternoon. This came in as expected. The system did overachieve somewhat. I warned you of that late this morning if you watched some of my videos and updates from late morning. I said there'd probably be a corridor from like Columbus to the southern part of our viewing area that might try to squeeze out 3 inches or so. And that indeed did come to fruition. In fact, 4-inch reports in some spots south of 224. This was the radar when I recorded this a little before 8 o'clock this evening. Everything continues pushing south and east. We are done in our viewing area, except for maybe the far southern part of Columbia County. We're done with the accumulating snow for tonight. But a handful of reports over towards New Philly, about 3 inches. Parts of Carroll County got about 3 inches or so. Wellsville down in southern Columbiana County, 3.5 inches and pushing 3 inches. In eastern parts of Lawrence County, amounts did get lower as you go off to the north. Liberty Township, about 2 inches. And I think 1 to 2 inches was much more common in Trumbull, Mercer, and a good chunk of Mahoning County as well. Here's a time lapse from our camera in Boardman showing the conditions going downhill in a hurry this afternoon. I mean, it got bad for a little while. Another one of those situations that just reminds us that it doesn't take much snow to cause a lot of problems. You know, there are oftentimes many more problems with a coating to 1 inch or 2 of snow than with 7 or 8 inches, because that's a big storm that people plan for. They adjust their plans. Most people don't necessarily adjust their plans for 1 inch or 2. So traffic is heavier, and we unfortunately had a lot of accidents around the valley this afternoon and this evening. All right, let's pivot towards the cold because it becomes the story for the next couple of days, although for some of us, snow is going to be a story on Thursday as well. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning with air temperatures in the mid-teens, and then wind chills will be in the single digits as we kick off our Wednesday, and wind chills throughout Wednesday probably no better than the lower teens, air temperatures up to about 23. Here comes the real cold for Thursday morning. By 3 o'clock in the morning, our wind chill's already down to -5 to -10. You bet there'll be a whole skew of school adjustments Thursday morning. A slew, not skew. A whole slew of school adjustments Thursday morning. Wind chills by 7 a.m. could be 12, 13 below. This is some serious cold. Air temperatures in the upper single digits Thursday morning. By Thursday afternoon, the wind chills still below zero. And actually, as wind chills probably stay below zero into Friday morning, I would expect some school adjustments Friday morning as well. And as far as the actual air temperature, Friday's morning is probably the coldest. We could be 2, 3, 4 degrees in some spots as far as the actual temperature Friday morning. By Friday afternoon, we're still frigid but not as windy, so wind chills won't be quite as brutal by Friday afternoon. Been talking about this for a couple of days now. With a high of 13 on Thursday, that's our forecast. That would make it the coldest December day since 2004. At Christmas time in 2004, 13 was the high. You'll notice relatively recently, 2013 and again in 2010, we've had some days in the teens in December, but 13 is really hard to come by this time of the year. That's much more common in January, February. All right, so tomorrow, aside from the cold, it's going to be an uneventful day. Now, as we go into tomorrow night, already by 11 o'clock and midnight, I think the lake effect machine is going to be firing up with our Arctic front. And these lake effect bands will continue wobbling around and wiggling around on Thursday and into parts of Thursday evening before shutting down by Friday morning. The lake effect zones, the snow belts, will do really well once again with this. 8 to 16 is that hot pink color. Ashtabula County over into parts of Crawford and Erie County in PA. Closer to home here, this again fairly typical of lake effect. 1 inch or so should do it at most from roughly Youngstown on south. But the farther you head north on Route 11 through Trumbull County, or up 79 in Mercer County, you're going to run into higher amounts. So I think from Warren and Champion on north, there could be 3, 4, 5 inches. And Mecca, Mespo, Kinsman, Greenville, etc., in the northern reaches of Trumbull and Mercer, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 inches of new snow because of the lake effect, starting Wednesday night, continuing into Thursday and parts of Thursday evening as well. All right, this is a loaded weather pattern. We've got more to talk about as we head towards the weekend. All right, so Friday, the lake effect machine shuts down. As we go into Friday night and early Saturday, not lake effect, but a general snow returns with a warm front. And this is a doozy of a warm front. It's going to be successful in dislodging the harsh Arctic air. But the transition is going to be a bumpy one, because I think we see at least a couple or a few inches of snow Friday night and early on Saturday. And even though the snow may be replaced by other types of precipitation Saturday morning, could be icy for a while. We could have a period of freezing rain and some sleet Saturday morning before we transition, thankfully, over to just plain rain by about lunchtime at the latest. So some trouble spots early on Saturday. By Saturday afternoon, we're going to be well up into the 40s with a gusty southwest wind. There'll be a lot of melting going on Saturday afternoon, but that warm-up's a brief one. Here comes the cold air, still raining into Saturday evening, but by Saturday night into Sunday morning, we probably transition back to snow. Now, a big accumulation doesn't seem likely with this, but Arctic air pushing back in, some snow on top of a lot of moisture sitting on the ground, things could be slippery again Sunday morning. So, just to review, lake effect tomorrow night through Friday morning, early, several inches in the snow belt. Friday night into Saturday morning, probably generally a few inches of snow, maybe 3, 4, 5 even. And then Saturday night into Sunday morning, we could have some icy problems once again. So this is a loaded weather pattern. Again, the odds of accumulating snow are high Friday night, early Saturday. Here's the European model. Odds of 3 inches or more. And here we are in Northeast Ohio, and these colors kind of correspond to somewhere between, say, 40 and 70%. That's odds of more than 3 inches. I think a few inches, 2 to 4, 3 to 5, something like that. Pretty likely Friday night and early on Saturday. All right, if you're dreaming of a white Christmas, if you assume that there's going to be a white Christmas because of all this wintry weather, not so fast. The pattern's going to change as we head closer to the holiday. Here's early next week on Monday. Arctic air around. We could have another night or two with lows in the single digits early next week. But watch how the pattern is going to change by the second half of next week. Already by Wednesday, the Arctic air is off the playing field, heading out over the Atlantic. And a lot of North America, with the exception of parts of the West, will be warming up. And I think that trend will continue as we head closer to the holiday. Here's Christmas Eve next Saturday, cold in the West, but a lot of orange colors here in the East. And Christmas Day right here, this is not a cold pattern. Now, does this mean 50s like last year? No, not necessarily. But it also means that our odds of white Christmas are looking pretty low, despite the snow that's coming. Now, if you've got, especially after the next few days, if you're going to have 8 or 9 inches of snow on the ground, you might still have some slushy snow around on Christmas Day. But fresh snow falling from the sky seems pretty unlikely. So we'll keep an eye on this, but right now the pattern looks like a mild one as we head towards the Christmas holiday. That's it for Weather Geeks tonight. Full updates on all of these wintry threats coming up tonight on 21 News at 11. I will see you then. Have a great Tuesday night.